are going to make the broccoli and red pepper quiche cups, which is one of the recipes in the Keto for the Holidays cookbook. And this is a fabulous dish that would be great to have on hand. You can use it as an appetizer. You could also use it for a breakfast or a brunch if you have a house full of people coming, staying with you, coming and going. This would be a brilliant recipe for that. Very easy, fail-proof, and brilliant to have in the fridge, to have on hand. They're great hot, they're great cold, they're great at breakfast, brunch, appetizer, snack. They're portable, they're brilliant. So, and these are also very pretty because of the vegetables that I use in them. So very simple. The first thing we're going to do, which I've already done, is the oven gets put on. And here I have my muffin tray with these fabulous silicone cups. You can grease these and not use the cups, but the cups make life so simple, so easy clean up. So, and I'm all about clean up. So that's those. Now what we're gonna do, we've got our pepper. We are going to chop this finely. And when you read instructions that say something like chop finely, there's you know, a scale. Everyone's fine is different. So the rule of thumb that I always stick by is, when it says chop finely, I look at the size of the thing that I'm making. So if you don't cut these pieces quite small, because the actual muffins are quite small, if you don't cut the vegetables finely, you're going to have these kind of weird, huge lumps of vegetable, which in something this small is going to be really odd. So there's just something to think about if you're worrying about what fine looks like. You do you. You have your peppers the size that you want, but I would just use the rule of thumb of think about the size of the thing, the size of the finished dish that you're putting whatever it is you're chopping into, and that will give you a better idea of how small to cut it. So I am cutting these pretty small, as you can see, because the muffins are small. And as we're doing this, I'm going to put these straight into my mixing bowl. And obviously they're going into a muffin, so you're not going to see them. So bar the size being important, how well you do it, how fast you do it, how neat they are, doesn't matter, because they're going to be cooked inside something and nobody will see. So if you're having knife anxiety watching me do this, don't. And I'm deliberately doing it slow so that you don't feel like, in order to get a good result, you have to go at 1,000,000 miles an hour and lose a digit. The peppers don't taste better if you're able to chop them a few seconds faster. So that was my little lesson on finely chopped. So for the purposes of something small, quite small. And then we've got our broccoli. These actually are a great way to get veggies, particularly veggies that often children don't like. It's a great way to get veggies into children without them knowing it, because they will get the goodness of the broccoli, but they are not really going to know the broccoli's there, and you can, they add, because we're cutting them so small, they add more in terms of nutrition and fibre than they do in terms of a whole bunch of flavour. You can taste it, but it's definitely not like eating a huge lump of broccoli. So if you're one of those people that would really love it if your kids ate more veggies, this is a good way to do it. And again, you'll notice that I'm cutting this really small for exactly the same reasons as the pepper. You don't want to bite into something small and find a 1-inch stalk of broccoli in there. Well, I don't know, maybe you do, but that's not me. So just bear that in mind when you're choosing what size to cut your broccoli. And again, no prizes for making it pretty in this particular recipe. You could also get the bags of broccoli slaw, or you could process your broccoli. The broccoli slaw, you really wouldn't have to chop that at all to get it small. So that's also another option if you want ready to go vegetables. Oh, I think we got a bit of an escapee over there. Flew straight in there. Okay, so now in here I have my pepper, my broccoli. I'm going to add my previously shredded, grated, whatever you call it, cheese. And I'm going to mix that together. Actually, I'm just going to use a spoon. I'm going to mix that all together really well. Just toss it here. These kind of, I love these for the holidays because on a holiday buffet table they look like party muffins, an egg muffin party because of the lovely bright colours. So give that a good mix so it's really well combined, and then I'm going to get this mess out of the way. And what you want to do is you want to divide your cheese and veggie mix evenly, or as evenly as you can. I wouldn't get crazy with weighing unless that makes you happy. I wouldn't get crazy with weighing this mix, to be clear. I, of course, as you know, if you've watched any of my cooking videos or had my books or on my blog, you'll know that I'm absolutely crazy about weighing the initial ingredients. But once you've got to this point, you can just eyeball your mix. Into your cups. These are variations of egg muffins or quiche cups or crustless quiche or whatever you want to call them, are probably some of my favourite things to eat because they are so simple and they're so nutritious, but they're also, as I said at the start, they are so, the oven's ready, they are so versatile because they're like having an omelette in the morning. They're portable. You can have them cold on the go. You can take them to the office and warm them up again. Brilliant for road trips. I just love these. Super good for feeding a crowd because they're so easy and fast, and they're pretty sturdy, not fragile food. So there we go. We've got our mix there, like so. See, they do look like a party in a cup. And now what we're going to do, I'm just going to put those to the side. I'm going to get my bowl back and I'm going to start cracking eggs. You'll also know, if you know me at all, my little tip for not ruining a whole lot of eggs is to crack them one by one into a little cup. Not straight into whatever it is you're making. That way, if you do have a rogue egg, you've only lost your one rogue egg. This is also a fantastic way of using up eggs. If you have got a glut, you've had some a while, you feel like you need to use them, but you don't have a ton of time, then making up a batch of these and freezing them is also a brilliant option. And you can, of course, if you are making a batch of these ahead of feeding a lot of people, you can make these ahead and freeze them and just get them out the day before or the morning of when you're ready. So we've got our eggs. We're going to add our herbs. We're going to add our yogurt, Greek yogurt. Helps to keep these really moist. Also adds protein and some fat, so some nice Greek yogurt there. And also some seasoning, good piece of pepper, pinch of salt, and we're going to give these, I'll start off slowly just to make sure that you've broken all the yolks, because yolks are slippery suckers and you don't want to end up inadvertently missing one and finding a big old yolk plop into your muffin cups. So once you've smashed all those yolks, you want to give it a really, really good whisk. Depending on how cold your yogurt is, it might take a bit of work for you to incorporate the yogurt. Now I love to use these melamine pouring bowls because you only get one thing dirty. I've just used this for all the things. However, if you don't have one and you're using a bowl, that's absolutely fine. There we go, all my yogurt is now completely gone. If you have a bowl, what you want to do is get yourself a small jug. So with your bowl, you would put your egg mix in, and then what you want to do is carefully pour in your egg mix, not right to the top because these do grow. Don't worry that some of the vegetables aren't covered, because the eggs will rise around all the veggies. The other thing I suggest you doing halfway through is just going to put the rest of that in there, but also is just giving it another little stir, so that if any of the herbs and seasonings have started to settle, you mix those up again. You can see now how pretty these are. So I normally go round once, and then I'll just go back and just top them up, just to make sure I don't run out. Also, and this may sound silly, but the first time I did this, it worked exactly. And this time I have a little bit left over. So you don't panic and think you've done something wrong. Reasons for that would include if you've chopped your veggies a different size to mine, it will change the volume of veggies in the pan, so you could get more or less egg in. Also, of course, your egg size might be different, particularly if you're using backyard chicken eggs, your sizing might be all over the place. So that's reasons why you might end up with a little bit. If you consistently do that, you can just reduce the recipe by 1 egg. It doesn't make any difference in this recipe. So I probably would have been fine with 1 less egg. So I just don't want you to panic about that if that happens and you think maybe you did something wrong. So don't fill them right to the top, just leave a little gap like you can see there. And then you want to very carefully carry them even, because they're full. You want to very carefully put them into the center of the oven, and you're going to bake them they do take quite a while. You're going to bake them for about 30 minutes. They're going to be risen, they're going to be puffy, and they're going to be golden brown, and they're going to rise well above the cups. So don't be alarmed by that, and then when you bring them out, they will collapse back down a bit. So, but they are ready when a skewer, where's my trusty skewer? My trusty, well-used skewer. They are done. If you're worried about the look of them and you just want to test, a skewer inserted into the middle comes out clean. That's how you know for sure they're done, but they do take about 30 minutes. So I'm going to put these in the oven and I'll pop back with them when they come out. And here are your straight out of the oven broccoli red pepper quiche cups, and I think you can see they are, oops, they are super high. They are like a good centimetre, half an inch when you bring them out the oven. I wanted you to see that so you don't panic, and then we can stand here and watch them, and you can already see that they're already, I don't want to say collapsing because that sounds like a bad thing, but they are going back. They're finding their new resting height, which is lower than this. So they'll be super puffy when they come out, and you'll see that I overfilled mine just a little bit. I've got some little bits of egg spillage over here. So don't overfill them more than I did mine, or you'll be in the same boat. But you'll see now that these are shrinking back down into the silicone cups. So you want to leave them in the cups until you can handle them, and then you want to turn them out. These are super hot. They have literally just come out the oven. You can see now that my egg spillage, but you want to turn them out because they will sweat if you leave them in the silicone cups. So as soon as they are cool enough to handle, just flip them out, and you'll also see how fabulous silicone is, because you barely even have to do anything to get that clean. So there are your, let me just cut it. There is your beautiful party in a muffin cup, beautifully seasoned, lovely broccoli and red pepper quiche cups.